I think we have.
Ah, yes. I'm just starting again, sorry.
Once again. Twice is twice.
Thank you.
So, once again, I'm really honored to have this opportunity to welcome you to on today's presentation and to be here in front of you on behalf of HEP Group and HEP Production Limited. So I would like also to thank you for coming here on site and online to participate on today's live Praetorian demonstrations. So we are in scene, which has a rich history of protection, not only the scene area, but as a part of Antemuralis Christiensis, the protection of the whole multi-centennial of Europe. So today, on today's presentation, we will demonstrate the protection of interconnected European critical infrastructure from combined physical and cyber threats using some cutting-edge technologies and methodologies. So Ella will inform you much detailed on the project and on today's presentation. Please.
Thank you. And also, Frederick, can you also say a few
Yes,
words?
yes, of course. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, good. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Krasimir. Of course, I'm so unhappy to not be with you today. I could not be, and I could not do the trip because other connection was done in my agenda for this, and it was very complicated. So really, I'm not so happy with this, but my apologies for this. And I'm really happy to see how you are there. I'm sure it will be a very good day because the preparation was very, very serious. It was an important job. And for this, first, thanks to FVP with Angel about this this management of the demonstrators in the global. Also, you, Eva, for having following the installation and the preparation of this day. Also to Concha with the of course very important involvement from Tamara to do this, to organize the Croatian demonstrators, the both one. And you, HEP, Krasimir, for participating and allow the project to follow the targets we have in this project, to show how the tools we develop are important, and to continue to show how critical infrastructures in Europe is really a very, very, very big topic. The proof is that our PO Doris is again with us today. So thanks also to her. It's very important to have the support of the Commission in what we do. And I believe really that the job we do in Praetorian is important. You know, because I'm also working in an energy company, you know how the energy is a big issue today in Europe. We know what happens everywhere. We know that having demonstrators with scenarios with electricity domain, with electricity landscape is very good for the demonstration of the tools. And of course, having an hydropower plant in this demonstrator is very, very, very interesting. And because you know that we combine attacks, we consider the combined attacks in Praetorian project. We also have the combination today with the hospital of Cabeg, and in this case we will be again in the capacity to show that the work done for 2 years now, it's really short. But if I look back, we really made big progress in 2 years. Honestly, if I could imagine that we could do this, that you could do this in the development of the tools, I'm not sure I would have it so I would have been so confident in this. So it's very, very important. It's big efforts we did, and now the end of the project with the demonstrators is the proof that it was first interesting, important, that we have good exploitation possibilities in our activities, and the months coming will show again that the dissemination we will do about this domain, these topics, is good, and it will be interesting. As you know, we will have our final event the 22nd of September. It will be combined with the EU CIP annual event. So it will be again interesting to show how we correlate all these activities about protection of these critical activities in a global way, and how it is important for Europe. So I'm going to stop because I could be speaking a long time like this, but I enjoyed to be with you this morning, even if it's in a distance. I'm sure that it will be very interesting again to show what we developed in the different products. As you know, the CSA, the PSA, the HSA, and also the responding tools. But this, it will be shown in this morning. So the agenda, you have this on the second page. You will have the explanation again about what are the tools we developed. So what I said, cybersecurity, physical security, hybrid situation awareness, and also coordinated response. After, we will have a demonstration about what is done with the detection systems. You know, we have drones in the project also. Really, the landscape of what we address is very large, and this is why I believe it's very relevant and interesting. So after this, we will start with the scenario. First, the description of what is done with the assets we have for this demonstration, then the execution of the scenario, and then question and response. So thank you very much for being here. I wish you all the good in your different actions this morning, and I will still be with you. So again, thanks, and Eva, I give you the word to you again.
Thank you very much, Frederick. So I can close this. Let me see. Should be the best. Perfect. Okay, I will start now with an overview of the PRAETORIAN project. Let's see. Well, my name is Eva Muñoz. I am from the Spanish company ETRA, and I am the project manager in PRAETORIAN. What I would like to present today is a project that is funded by the European Commission in the field of security. It is coordinated by the ADF. You just saw the presentation of our coordinator. We have 23 partners from different European countries, and we have 3 pilot cases that have been developed in 4 different member states, with a budget of around 9 million euros and a funding of 7.5, more or less. We started around 2 years ago, on June of 2021. And we are going to finalize in 3 months, a bit more than 3 months, by the end of September. So we are now finalizing our demonstrators, and we have some time later on to evaluate what is the real impact of this project. So the overall objective of Praetorian, which is our strategic goal, is defined around 3 key concepts. First of all, we want to increase the resilience and the security for European critical infrastructures. So we are trying to go beyond protection, even if in our title, the Praetorian is referring to protection of critical infrastructures. Ideally, we focus on resilience. So it is not only about protection, but we also focus on the response and the coordination of the response. This is very relevant. It is not only addressing a single critical infrastructure and what is happening in case of a threat or an attack. We focus on the coordinated protection of interrelated critical infrastructures. So we are focusing on different domains with different kind of critical infrastructures. And we also consider combined cyber and physical threats in the way we detect and we provide the response to the attacks. Okay. Yeah. So when we talk about our objectives, we have 4 technical objectives. We focus on the evaluation of the hazard and the minimization of the level of the risk on the critical infrastructures. That means we want to know about possible vulnerabilities and the way to detect these vulnerabilities. We also focus on improving the understanding of physical and cyber threats. That means that we have developed tools to create situation awareness, to allow the operator understand what is happening and when, and to have the right information. We also focus on resilience, as I was saying, of the critical infrastructures, so it is not only protection, but enabling the possibility to coordinate the response to an attack. And finally, we want to share the information with the public around the critical infrastructures, but also to improve the mechanisms to communicate among the different critical infrastructures that are involved. We also have impact and user-oriented objectives. First of all, the validation of our tools and what we have developed in the project. We want to validate in real context of the interdependent critical infrastructures. Of course, we have a framework. Ethical, legal, privacy and societal principles have to be assessed to understand if we are doing things correctly. And finally, it's about disseminating our results. This is an obligation when you are funded by the European Commission, but it's important everybody knows what we are doing, what are our results. And of course, we have built a stakeholders group, which is a relevant community of users that are informed all the time about what we are doing. Today, we are, of course, trying to validate in real context the tools we have developed. This is the focus today, and this is the objective in which we are working. So, piece of information about our demo sites. Today we are here in HEP for this combined scenario of the hydropower plant and the hospital in Austria, but we have some other demonstrations. The first demonstration we had, it was in March, also in a combined scenario in Croatia and Austria with the Zagreb Airport and a laboratory in Graz. The second demonstration was in France, involving the port of Bordeaux, EDF, and also the firefighters of Lyon. Of course, I have to say that for the first Croatian scenario, we also had the same first responders that we have today, the Croatian Rescue Mountain Service. And the last demonstration we will have is in Spain in around 2 weeks, on the 5th of July, involving the Port of Valencia, AENA, which is the operator of the airport in Valencia, the Hospital La Fe, also one of the biggest hospitals in Spain, and also involving the firefighters in Valencia. About the tools we have developed, we refer to them as products because this is objective. This is a project focusing on solutions that are very close to the market, to the commercialization. So the four tools we have and that are going to be used today to demonstrate our project are focusing on three different systems that provide situation awareness. The first of them on the cyber domain, the second one on the physical domain, and then there is a third system focusing on hybrid situation awareness. That means the combination of the cyber and physical. And then we have a fourth system focusing on the coordinated response. So this is what you will hear today about the CSA, the PSA, HSA, and CR. These are our acronyms, but along the different presentations, you will hear these names. Going a bit more in detail, what we have in the serious situation awareness system are different modules with the capability to understand whether a cyber attack or a cyber threat is taking place. We provide information about the assets in the network of the operator and the different points in which an attack might be happening. We have a specific module for forecasting what is the objective of the attacker. We have also physical situation awareness in which we rely in different sensors with the capability to detect something that is happening. Audio sensors, presence sensors, of course, the most basic ones of temperature, humidity. You will see today several of them, but we can also integrate different systems with the capability to detect. In our case, we have a drone detection system and cameras with the capability of tracking objects or also to provide detections based on artificial intelligence mechanisms, for example, to detect abnormal situations. When these systems are getting input in case of a threat or a possible attack, this data is feeding the hybrid situation awareness system in which we combine this data and we are able to understand different events. We correlate what is happening using different models, and we also build a model of digital twins of the critical infrastructure. So the operator is able to know what's happening and to know about cascading effects between the different assets or even between different critical infrastructures. And with this information, the system is feeding the coordinated response system. We have a decision support system for the operators in which all the information available in the rest of the system is available to understand what is the incident and what are the next actions that the operator can do. We have different mechanisms to inform the first responders about the threat or about the attack, to let them know what is happening. And we have also some modules to provide information through social media, choose the way to neutralize or a threat. For example, we have also the possibility to integrate a drone neutralization system. And of course, we have also mechanisms to inform the population near the critical infrastructure. These are the different tools, different modules that are going to be demonstrated in the project. Several of them will be used today. Of course, we have different dashboards for offering the information because it is key in the project. We have a lot of data. These systems are generating a lot of data, but this data has to be translated into information, useful information for the operator. So this is what we offer in the different dashboards. So you can see the end users of our tools are critical infrastructure operators, but also the first responders. And the capability to connect everything is done because we provide interoperability mechanisms. We have a single platform in which all the information is available and ensuring that it can be shared between the different end users and also that the information is updated in real time as soon as we have it. So this is how our system, the dashboard looks like, and this is what will be used today. the cyber situation awareness system, the physical situation awareness, the hybrid situation awareness, and the different modules starting in the decision support system. This is what we are going to see today in real life. So that's it from my side. Are there any questions at this moment? I forgot to say, the meeting is going to be recorded, okay? So at this moment, so I guess everyone has signed the consent form today, because we will share the recording later on with the public. We have a YouTube channel. Indeed, you can already find the previous demonstrations we have done. So I think this is everything from my side. Okay.
So hello everybody, I'm Stéphane Paul from Thales Research and Technology in France, and I'm going to present you cyber situation awareness tools that we have in So to start with, I'm going to present the goal of this situation awareness system, and with a focus on how it is innovative with respect to state of the art. And then I will give you an insight on what you will see in the demonstration. This is going to be a complex scenario, so I'll just give you an insight on what you will be able to see later on. So the goal, obviously, is to improve the situational awareness of the operator who is in charge of the cybersecurity supervision, since this is the first goal. And we have a second goal, which is obviously, as Eva just presented, to provide the cybersecurity information part of the hybrid situation awareness. So we are going to mix physical and cyber, and of course, we have to feed that hybrid. So, this being said, you might say, okay, what's new? Because there are a lot of tools for cybersecurity everywhere in the market. So what are we bringing as added value? So we'll try to go through that. So if we look at the state of the art, one could expect that already you have what we call cybersecurity information and event management scene. Those are the tools that detect a lot of events that are happening in the systems. You might have an endpoint detection and response system, EDR, which is something installed on your terminal and detects things that go wrong there. You might have syslog to send those events through the network to a security operations center where you have people watching what's happening. This is all state of the art. So what we are going to bring is something sort of cherry on the cake, looking at some specific events, more stealth attacks on the event, on the system, and also looking at a mixture of IT, classical information, technical information systems, and operational technology, like we have in here. First, before I go down to the specificities, I want to explain very briefly how an attacker would really normally attack a system. So there are a number of steps that the attacker would do if he wants to hack a system. He would start by studying the target being, of course, the infrastructure, the physical infrastructure, the networks that you use, but also the people that work there, the habits, the families. So you get a lot of information about the people, about the networks, about the infrastructure. When he has enough information there, then he can try to hack the system using keywords as passwords, things like that, to enter the system. Once he's entered the system, he will try to gain more privileges, because if he's hacked somebody who's just an assistant or a simple operator, then you don't have a lot of rights to the system, so you want to raise that So you use a number of tools to get more privileges in the system, like a keylogger to get administration rights. Then when he has those, he will try to install a control system inside, one control system inside your system, so that he can enter and go out whenever he chooses. He might even solve your vulnerabilities because he doesn't want another attacker to come inside your system. So he will do a lot of things, and he will go down exploring your system, trying to find interesting things, maybe just collect data, or maybe temporary system creating some kind of bad chain of events. So that's basically what the attacker usually does. Oh, let's control again. Oh, it's moving there, but it's not moving there.
I think it's because of this.
Do we know what happened?
Okay, so how does the monitoring work? Let's imagine there is an attack ongoing. So you have a number of events that are going to occur. Okay, I didn't mention that on the previous slide. Of course, each time the attacker does this, he leaves traces there, and those traces can be observed by the monitoring system. Of course, all those traces are not by themselves, they are not suspicious, because everybody, when you go to work, you log in your system, you go to connect to some other system, you do some work, you save files, all this is logged, and this is normal work, it's not suspicious. So you have the system who's monitoring the IT system should be able to collect those traces and try to find patterns which look strange in the system. So let's imagine there is an attack, and therefore we have a number of sensors that collect all those events that are collect from the look at those observables, and from that, when this sensor thinks there's something suspicious, he will send an alarm to the operator, and the operator will decide if this is an incident or not an incident. Of course, that depends on his knowledge of the system. For example, he knows the operator knows that somebody is doing some maintenance operation there, and it's normal that this equipment is connected, disconnected, or that. So he might choose that this is not an incident, or he might decide that this is really an incident. So how does this sensor know what to observe, what is considered as suspicious? For that, inside the sensor, you have what is called indicators of compromise. So these indicators of compromise are sort of simple rules saying if this happens, for example, if somebody tries 3 times to log in the system and fails, this is getting suspicious. Okay, you might get it wrong this morning, you didn't have your coffee, and you tapped your password wrong, but if you do it more than 3 times in a go, then this is really suspicious. So those kind of indicators of compromise, they are defined by what we call cybersecurity threat analysts, and they work on knowledge in terms of tactics, procedures that are used by attackers. They know how the attackers work, and therefore they try to find the sequence of operations that those attackers do, and they feed this inside the sensors, and the sensors try to imagine and detect what is happening. Okay, in your so that's again, that was state of the art. Okay, so what are we trying to do differently here in PRAETORIAN? First, the systems on which we are working are quite complex ones, because okay, this is just a generic architecture, but we've made here a sort of corporate network. This way you do Word, Excel, and those kinds of PowerPoint work, and you do the administration work. Then you have the industrial control system, which is composed of SCADA parts and all those OT operations like programmable logic controllers that will help you control the valves, the opening of the whatever you want on your dam, for example. Okay. So you have a complex sequence of technology there, and all those technologies are segregated. Okay, and there are little systems today on the market that are allowed, that can supervise everything and know how, because you have specific protocols. Here you have mainly IP. Here you might have a lot of domain-specific protocols. So you need knowledge to be able to supervise all that. So what we are doing here, if in the project, is first we will consider attacks that take a long time. When an attacker attacks a system, I mean, not just a street kiddie or 14 years old boy who's at home and is just bored and attacking your system, but if we're talking about state hackers or criminals, they will take their time. They don't want to be detected, so they can take weeks, maybe months. I recently read an article where they died for 7 months attacking a system. So he will just send a few commands and then stop, wait 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then send another more commands trying to understand your system, etc. So this kind of commands, they are in the flow of normal traffic, and the normal operations, they will not detect this kind of attack. So because the operators, they work in shift. I mean, they don't expect a person to be working for hours and hours, so they work 4 hours, 5 hours, and then they go and somebody replaces them. If they spot it's just something a bit fishy, but nothing happened afterwards, okay, never mind. It's normal, somebody got a wrong password, something like that. Okay, but if you look at what happened for this operator, then the next operator, then the next operator, you can say, oh, that's really changed. This same guy, he tried many times to connect with 4 hours in between each trial, etc. So you can try to find something fishy. Second thing is we're going to look at those what we call lateral moves, moving from classical information technology to operational technology. So those are special techniques to move from one domain to the other domain, even though the system is segmented. Last thing is, no, not the last, no. Third thing is we're going to look at what we call the crown jewels. The normal systems we have in cybersecurity, they are just really normally focusing on cybersecurity events. Somebody failed the login, somebody wrote a file, somebody stopped the printers. Okay, those are purely cybersecurity events. What we are looking at are operational events. Why is the production in the morning, normally in the morning, I guess at 7 o'clock in the morning, the production of electricity should be rising, because the request, the demand is rising. If it's going down, then it's being strained, okay, because it's an operational event which doesn't make sense for this kind of operation. So in our systems, we're looking at events which are more of operational nature rather than just technical nature. So, and this should give more information to the operator so that he can react a bit earlier, because we are going to try to forecast what is happening in terms of operational events based on technical things that we can do. So, just a briefing of what I've just said, with respect to the fact that we want to cover both IT and information technology and operation technology. What we've brought in the project is that we've built a platform where we're able to have digital twins, which are mimicking both the IT infrastructure and the OT infrastructure. And we've built also a framework where we have the capabilities to build attacks and simulate attacks on those infrastructures to make it as realistic as possible compared to this. Next point, with respect to the fact that we are dealing with the crown jewels and not just IT events, is that we are basing our detection on the risk assessment of our customers. Okay, so as head, you have provided with Conchar the risk assessment of your system. You told us what you feel, what really is important for you, and we are checking if somebody is trying to compromise those things which are really valuable for you, not the fact that somebody plugged something somewhere, just none of that. Third point, so that the alarms are not provided to the operator too late. What we're doing is to try to forecast the events. So we're not just checking and giving the operator the events that has happened. We try to, based on the classical techniques that the attacker used, we're trying to forecast what he's trying to do in an operation point of view. And last point, so that we cope with the fact that the operators change and work in shift, we are keeping the events in very, very long time. When state-of-the-art tools, they have sort of small window for 15 minutes, they try to understand what's happening, but this is a sliding window. We keep a window which is just without limit until the events that we are detected seem to be really obsolete, and we throw them out. Okay, so that's all for the theory. What you will see in the demo later today, you will see one operator. He will be remote. Eric will show you how to attack the IT part. So it will be he will be sending an email with a zero-click corrupted attachment in that. So you just have to open the email and your system is corrupted. Nothing to click on the attachment or whatever, it's just there. And from there, he will explore the IT part of the system and he will move into the industrial control system. From there, you will have a second operator who will do the tampering of the SCADA itself. So he will have all the capabilities to do any sort of damage on the dam itself. What you will not see in the demo, because we don't have the time, is the part of the forecasting what the attacker is trying to do based on those events. And you will see the demo only on the HEP infrastructure, not on the hospital infrastructure, but we could have done something very similar there, but no time to do that. Just to give you a small insight on the architecture that we're working on, we didn't try to make it simple. You see here you have a kind of segmentation of the architecture, typical architecture. You have the local network services, for example, the email services that you have there. Here you have one of the, we call him Bernard, he's one of the administrators of this SCADA. He has his network of his tools there with his Windows 10. He has his administration machine, which is on Linux. So when he wants to connect to the SCADA, he first connects to this machine here, and this machine is able to connect to the SCADA and can do his administration work on this. So we are going to attack this guy here. What is important here that makes the attack difficult is that you have, of course, a firewall, and this firewall allows only a number of flows in the system. So from the internet, you can send emails to this email server. This email server can, of course, be requested by Bernard to get his email on his desk. Bernard can, of course, connect to the administration machine, and this administration machine can connect to the SCADA. All the other flows are, of course, not allowed by the firewall, and when the attacker wants to attack, he has to use the flows that are authorized by the system. So if you have specific interest for this attack, I have some leaflets I can distribute there, and we can discuss on the attack, the details of the attack. So you see it's quite a complex attack. Where you send the email, you do some discovery in the system, then you move lateral, you do the more lateral move to the other system, and then you can go and attack the SCADA and the HPD. So if you're interested, I have some copies and I can distribute that to you. Okay, that's all for me. Just a summary. What is specific in Praetorian with the cyber is that we focus only on stealth attack, those guys that want to go below the radar, not be detected. And the other thing that's specific is that we're mixing IT and OT technologies there. So what we are bringing there is really complementary to what you can find on the market. It's really innovative stuff. And for that, I told you we've built digital twins. For here today, we're going to use the Hydropower Plant IT, but we have other, so hydropower plant IT part and SCADA part, but we have other digital twins. EDF for the French pilot provided us with 3 digital twins, including also one for the power plant with valve controls and physical access, physical intrusion detection, and we started building also one for the hospital, but you will not see it. That's all for me. If you have any questions. Everything clear?
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Juanjo from ETRA. So I'm the technical manager of this project, but also I'm responsible of the PSA. It's called the Physical Situation Awareness System. First of all, I wanted to do a small summary of what we have. On one side, we have the cyber part that is able to detect and to send alerts and also to forecast if something is wrong. Then we have the PSA, the Physical Situation Awareness, that I will explain myself during this presentation. This will feed the hybrid situation awareness that is able to correlate these both scopes, these both domains. And finally, this is coordinated by this coordination response system. So each of the system has his own backend, his own HMI, graphical user interface. So, okay, now I go directly to this part, to the physical situation awareness. So 3 main technological entities in the physical situation awareness system. The first one is about assets and resources. What we will show in the graphical user interface will be sensors, all kinds of sensors, smoke sensors, presence, fire, and so on. Also, we have the possibility to geolocate the agents or the local agents inside the critical infrastructure. We have also the possibility to retrieve telemetry from friendly robots, remotely operated vehicles like drones. And also, we are able to retrieve the stream video from cameras. When everything is okay, everything is shown in green. But if something happens, for example, a sensor is detecting something that is weird, he will prompt an alarm or just to check it changes the color. Same for the different assets that we have. Also, the local police is able to send information about the current situation of the critical infrastructure. If something is detected by these cameras or by this artificial intelligence, this will create an exclamation mark where the operator is able to get information in a form of a video. And also, because we have this possibility there, we have this detection of drones that are not authorized to be flying over or in the vicinity of the critical infrastructure. So we just don't we have drones, but we are also able to retrieve data coming from, for example, underwater drones. So we have the possibility to stream the sonar of this underwater drone in real time. Okay, I will show just a short video about this critical infrastructure. So you can see that we have one drone that is flying. We are able to geolocate it in real time. Another one that is the lake. We are able also to show information about the drone. In this case, it's just a footage video, but we are able to do so to retrieve the data, the stream from these drones. And okay, you can see that there are a lot of sensors and cameras behind. So the idea is to let the operator to see what is happening in real time. So some generators are activated, there is a weather forecast showing information in real time, some cameras, and everything is working fine. Everything is good. We have also the possibility to come back and just to play with this timeline below. So we are able to retrieve data from one specific date. So and the operator is able to see the old state of these sensors or the position of this item. You can see this is moving, the drone is flying there, so you can play with it. So you can move forward using the different buttons, the arrow, the forward arrow, and so on. So this is another capability that we have here in the physical situation awareness, that is to let the operator know what has happened over the time. We perform also in some critical infrastructures an intervention where the drone is able to retrieve photogrammetry from the one specific area, and we're able to create a point cloud where, for example, from an infrastructure there, you can see here in the bottom that we have this timeline. When there is an incident, this will be shown there also. So the operator can just move through the slider directly to the specific moment when there was an incident. The green dots are specifying that this specific incident is closed. We have the count number saying how many incidents there were during this specific time. Okay, we can also create through this point cloud, we are able to create then a mesh. It's a 3D model, so we are able to integrate it and to put it in the graphical user interface. We have also a list there in the right with the incidents that are open or closed. And the operator is able to just click the address to go directly to the location of these incidents. So this is, for example, I wanted to say a normal situation, but not a best situation during the scenario. So the operator, for example, has this list open with the different assets that he wanted to retrieve information. He can select some of the cameras just to show information in real time from one of the cameras. We have this orange marker saying that there is an explosion there, and a sensor that is affected by this explosion, and so on. So this is what the operator can see when something wrong is happening in this critical infrastructure. We are also able, we have integrated a lot of different sensors. We have, but not just the usual ones as the presence, pressure, temperature, and so on. But also we design a new innovative sensor, that is the audio sensor, that is able to get information from the sound. So we are able to detect with this sensor, we are able to detect explosions, drones, screams, but also you will see that there is a specific showcase in this scenario that we are able to detect the flood, that is when a gate is open or something. So we have incorporated this flood detection. We are also able to integrate SCADA systems, for example, to show information of active power, for example, in these charts. Okay, this is about the audio sensor. So we put there a display just for demonstration purposes. So just green is okay, it's detecting sound, but nothing is happening. When a drone is detected by the audio sensor, the sound wave changes to the color and also for the explosions. And we will incorporate this kind of representation for the different detections that we have. This is a short video. I don't know if the audio is shared. I will check. Sorry. I will share again my screen just with the sound activated. Okay. I think now it's fine. So what you can see here is okay. We have this green sound wave. Okay. Okay, I think it's okay. Anyway, when a drone is detected, this will change the color. So, and this will trigger an alert to the physical situation awareness system, to the graphical user interface. So the operator is able to get that information in the HMI. Okay, so this is the idea for the audio sensor. The second main technological entity that we have here is about artificial intelligence. We have improved some of them. There are well-known artificial intelligence models like object detection. We are able also to get information about threats, action classification about, for example, violence situation, loitering situation. Someone is around the area, but is not doing anything special. We have also the possibility to re-identification, for example, from different cameras, which we are able to detect a person and to track this person, not just person, but also objects like vehicles and so on. So if a vehicle is entering a restricted area, we are able to track it from different cameras. Okay, this is just a short demo. So we have a showcase. We have here, people that is fighting. So if the threshold is above certain percentage, this will trigger an alert. Okay, detecting violence in this case. So, and then this will be displayed in the HMI. And finally, okay, this has his own slot for the explanation. So, but just to say that we have the capability, the last but not least, we have this drone capability, drone detection capability that is able to detect drones flying nearby the vigilant instructor, and also is able to detect multiple drones, to track them, and to show it in the graphical user interface that we have. And that's all regarding the physical part. I don't know if anyone any comment or, and that's all. Okay.
So we're continuing with PSA.
It's fine. Yes, it's I share the whole screen, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, good morning to all of you. We're going to see it right now, the Hybrid Situational Awareness Tool, HSA. I am Israel Perez from Technical University of Valencia and my colleague Sandra Koenig from AIT. We will do this very short presentation. I think that maybe it's more interesting that we have an overview right now, and then we take a proper view during the demonstration and making use of the tool. Anyway, let's go for the main ideas behind this hybrid situational awareness tool. And the goal here, or objective, and it was one of the challenges of the project, was to develop system, to develop concepts, to provide means to gather information from the physical domain and information from the cyber domain, integrate all of them, and provide like an overall tool that provides answers to things like what are the consequences of this kind of attack happening or coming to life, materializing in the cyber domain, or what are the specific consequences of this attack going on in the physical domain, and how do they affect one to each other. So if we do have an attack in the cyber domain, what are the consequences of an attack in the cyber domain in the physical domain? So one of the starting hypotheses inside the project was that currently, today, unfortunately, in all over kind of businesses, and more specifically in critical infrastructure protection, physical and cyber domains cannot be considered or understood or treated independently. So they are completely coupled and integrated one to each other. Then attacks on one of these dimensions also impact the other one. More than that, not only that happens from inside one critical infrastructure, but also this happens in the interconnected critical infrastructure. So we've been working all over the project in terms of what happens if, for instance, a power plant is affected by one kind of attack, and which kind of consequences does this have to a hospital which is connected to this power plant, and in the contrary sense. Okay, so our objective during the project was to increase the overall European critical infrastructure protection by means of these hybrid situational awareness systems that combines both of the domains, the physical and the cyber. Here we get a sort of diagram showing how a cyber alert is raised in the cyber domain, in the cyber situational awareness tool, and how it propagates to the hybrid domain, and then it goes to the physical domain. So, for instance, we have an attack, a denial of service attack to a server, and then it propagates to having effects in the physical domain. So the physical situational awareness tool detects that the CCTV system is down, okay? And then that affects the protection of the environment, and then it has, again, consequences in the hybrid domain. So there is a propagation of consequences all over the domains, making that decision makers are confronted with a unique decision-making space. So to tackle and solve all these issues and provide for the critical infrastructure operators this kind of tools, our goal was to provide accurate estimations of potential cyber and physical consequences over a specific CI and all those related to it. So it was something that also propagated between different CIs. How? First of all, receiving alerts from the PSA that you saw a moment ago, and receiving alerts also from the CSA that was presented previously by our colleagues from Thales. And providing, once we collect all that data, once we calculate what can happen, then provide useful, not whatever data, but useful cascading effects information to the operator, relevant to what's going on, relevant to the operation in that specific moment, and also injecting all that data to the decision support system, which is also provided inside this project. So to do so, the HSA system is composed by a generic digital twin. So remember that there was shown the cyber digital twins, physical part on digital twins, and there is a generic digital twin that models everything and encompasses all the data that comes from the physical and the cyber, a threat propagation engine, which will calculate all these propagations of consequences, connectors to connect to the PSA and CSA, the systems that you saw, and receive all those alerts and all those events and all that relevant information. Also, connectors to send data to the DSS, and at the end, very important, to present useful, in a useful way all that information to the operators. How? By means of the hybrid situational awareness tool, HMIs. Now I give floor to my colleague Sandra, that will present the TPE part.
Yeah, so basically the first 2 points were done by, this is the wrong one.
but never mind. It's a good example why like the critical infrastructures are so interdependent, and this is a recent example from France. We actually had it on the import branching, but maybe it's also interesting for you. So there was a water leak causing a fire, causing outage of IT systems. So it's a very recent example. The generic digital twin that has been mentioned before, as we said, it combines information from the cyber part and from the physical parts, at least those that are relevant. So we don't just copy paste everything, but we choose carefully what we need and we put it to the next level, if you wish. And we also integrate the interconnections between cyber and physical that are very relevant for our analysis. And technically, we do this as a graph. So we will build really graphs for all the scenarios where the nodes are either parts of infrastructures or the entire infrastructure, depending how detailed we need them. And we have directed edges that point in the direction of how the problem moves. So if power supply is reduced, this might influence the hospital. So there is a directed edge. Problem might propagate. And of course, this is nice, and it's important to know how nodes or components depend, but it's not enough. We want to know how strongly components are affected, right? So we want to know how they're doing. And that's why we use also this color scheme as before shown for the PSA. So green means normal availability, normal functionality, everything good. And then with yellow or orange, it gets worse and worse, and red means not working, not available. And the key idea of the cascading effects that we want to analyze is just that you look at your component that you have the knowledge of. There is an incoming alert, a problem occurs, and then you might also become or have a problem. So you might turn orange or red. And if you do that, you notify all your neighbors. You tell them, listen, I have a problem. And they then might also react, might also become yellow or red, have a problem, and again, inform their neighbors. And that's how it really propagates to the entire network. That's the cascading effect. So everyone knows about his or her direct impact, but we don't see always the indirect effects, the cascading effect. And the threat propagation engine, which is one of the HSA tools, it's just mimicking this cascading effect. So we receive alerts from the CSA, from the Cyber Situational Awareness, or from the PSA, and then we investigate how this now propagates, and we estimate the impact. And we receive information on, we can have it for individual components if you just want to see how bad is it for me, or we can have best and worst case for the entire network, which we just color that. So I show you how it looks for this scenario. This was just a model. So on the top, you see a very simple version of the power plant. Down there, a very simple version of the hospital. And we also have included the first responders here. It's not so easy to see, but they are very relevant, of course, as well. They are connected. And we see already the van approaching to the gate, so something might go on there. That's just the interdependency model. And then we run the simulation, the cascading effect simulation, the threat propagation engine, and it describes step by step over time how the nodes change color, how it's getting worse and worse. And based on this analysis, we can see that if in the power plant something goes on, it might in the end be a problem for the hospital. And this is what is used for the next steps.
Okay, so to continue very briefly, this is sort of a diagram. So we've seen right now, explained by Sandra, the threat propagation engine, which is something that acts like a backend of the overall system, and at the end provides to the HMI things like the potential impact over critical infrastructures, and also estimations on that impact in terms of how the assets are affected due to this kind of attacks and due to the propagation of these attacks and the consequences. To do so, to help in understanding, making an overall COP, common operational feature to the operators. The HMI has features like it is a web application, so everybody will be able to connect remotely. It's based on 3D graph visualizations by means of geo capabilities, GIS based, so everything is seen in the world. Okay, there is a size and color coding. We will see in terms of showing the degree of affectation and the degree of impact in terms of the size and color of the elements. There is also the capability to see this historical data analysis and a consequence timeline. Obviously, the operator and the user can at any time configure different things. And also, very importantly, this synoptic light diagram, which will show all those consequences calculations, but in an abstract way, where what we see is the relation among different elements in a 3D environment. So we show all possible affected assets, their interdependencies, the coupling of the different things, the estimated new asset state, and we will see that also this state is shown in different stages. So we'll see the affectations at stage 1, and next time interval stage 2, stage 3, and such, and estimated asset consequences. Advantages, well, at the end what we want is to enhance the overall operator situational awareness, and obviously to help her decision-making process. So the system, as we were saying, is web-based. At any time you are shown with these consequences located on a map, and you have a very simple interface where you can, as is shown in this slide, configure different elements. So in this particular case, you can configure things like simulations. So we can say, okay, this threshold is going to be located here, or we are going to make this number of simulations to calculate the consequences. We can also configure the communications. So how do we connect to, remember, the important element, the IOP, which will encompass all of the systems and exchange data between CSA, PSA, HSA in this case, and DSS, and also a GIS configuration. Okay. So now, for instance, we see the system wants. Okay. We see right now a cascading effect representation. So there's an alarm pops here. Okay, and we see red bell ringing, and then we can go to the specific problem. This is the hydropower plant, and at the hydropower plant, we see that there's been a cascading effect calculated right now in terms of how this kind of attack that we have detected at the CSA, for instance, is affecting our assets and propagating in the coupling between the physical and the cyber domain. And we see this cascading effect on the map in timeline stages, and also affected asset detailed information. So if we click on the affected asset, we see its detailed specific information. We can have access to historical data. So we can see here historical simulation results. We have a window there to see all the cascading effect calculations, and we can go back and say, okay, there was a drone detection, and how does it affect the overall infrastructure in terms of physical and cyber domain? And we got that information here. And also we have what is shown here right now, more specific things like this calculation of distances between elements, or things like let's go to a specific area. So you write down the name of the location and you go there. You can change the map, have road names, things like that. You can define areas of interest or protection perimeters, things like that. And very relevant, you'll show it in the demonstration, the synoptic light diagram, where we are seeing the same information in terms of cascading effects and the relations among assets, but in an abstract environment. So we are not located on a map, but we are showing or focusing in the interrelation among things, among elements, and among the consequences of the given attacks. And with that, we finish this presentation. If you have any kind of questions, we'll be very happy to reply. No questions? Then we shall move to the next presentation. Yes.
Good morning. I'm Lazarus Papadopoulos from ICCS, and I will give a short presentation about the coordinated response. So, the purpose of the coordinated response is to provide to the operator orchestrated responses about ongoing incidents. And as you can see in this figure, the coordinated response receives input from all the other Praetorian components that were presented earlier, the cyber, the physical, and the hybrid situational awareness. The coordinated response integrates a number of tools, and probably the most important of this tool is the decision support system. The decision support system manages alerts coming from the cyber and the physical domain. Based on these alerts, it generates incidents and notifications and recommends to the user, to the operator, mitigation actions. An important concept of the decision support system is the rules. The rules are configured offline. An example of a rule can be that if a sound sensor detects an explosion, then generate an explosion incident. Or if a camera detects a hostile drone, then trigger the drone, the counter UAV component of the Praetorian system. These are some simple, let's say, examples of rules. So, based on these rules that are created offline, and on the alerts coming in real time from the cyber and the physical domain, the decision support system generates in real time incidents. An example of an incident can be an explosion has been detected or an unauthorized drone has been detected. These are incidents, and the color next to each one indicates the importance, the criticality of each one of these incidents. As soon as such an incident is generated, the decision support system can be configured to send a notification to the user, to the operator of the critical construction. The Praetorian system, the decision support system, provides many different options for the notification. The notification can be sent through SMS on the cell phone, or through email, or through a message, through a chat application, etc. All these are very configurable. These incidents can be viewed, of course, on a map. The red dots on a map indicates incidents in different places. And finally, the decision support system provides a list of recommended mitigation actions for each type of the incident. This is a short overview of the decision support system. The next tool, which is part of the coordinated response, is the emergency population warning system. So the Praetorian provides different ways for sharing information with the public when an incident is ongoing. One of these options is the emergency population warning system that can be used to send EU alerts in the area of incident. So this tool is very, let's say, user-friendly. The operator can select an area around the incident, which is highlighted with this red color, can select the specific EU alert, the specific message, and by clicking on the button, this EU alert is sent to the mobile devices of the people in the highlighted area. An interesting feature of this tool is that it can provide feedback about the number of the mobile devices in the area of the incident based on this, as you can see in this heat map here. So this information can be used to provide an estimation of the number of people in the area of the incident, which is information useful not only for the operator but also for the first responders that will be deployed in the area of the incident. You will see, you get the opportunity to see this tool during the execution of the scenario later. Another tool integrating the coordinated response is the information sharing with first responders. And the purpose of this tool is to establish effective communication between the operator of the critical infrastructure and the first responders. So during ongoing incident, there is a lot of information coming from the cyber, the physical, the hybrid domain stored in the Praetorian system. So this tool can select only the information which is relevant for the first responders that were expected to react for the specific type of ongoing incident. So this tool can send, first of all, basic information about an ongoing incident, the type of the incident, the location, the coordinates to the first responders. But also it relies on other Praetorian tools to be able to send more advanced information to first responders. For example, weather forecasting information in the area of the incident, an estimation of the number of people in the area based on the information produced by the emergency population warning system, or of cascading effects about ongoing incident based on the output of the hybrid situation awareness, as explained earlier. For example, which authorities are predicted by the hybrid situation awareness to be affected by an incident, or which other critical infrastructure are expected to be affected. And this information can be useful for the first responders to enable better decision making. As a communication channel between the operator and the first responders, we rely on a chat application, and this approach has two advantages. The first one is that it enables bidirectional communication between the operator and the first responders. And the second is that it allows sharing of not only text, but also files and videos, which can be useful for the first responders to react. The coordinated response integrates tools also for social media, in particular a tool for identified threats, cyber threats reported on social media, and also a tool for facilitating the posting, the sharing of information through social media by the operator during an ongoing incident. As I mentioned earlier, the Praetorian provides different options for sharing information with the public during incidents. And the purpose of this tool is to facilitate this process. So it can be used by the operator to send information about an ongoing incident to the public through social media, and particularly Twitter. Its use is straightforward. The operator can select a particular incident. There is a number of templates that appear relevant to the specific type of the incident. The user can edit the message, and by pressing a button, it can be posted on the Twitter account. You will also be able to see this tool in action during the execution of the demonstration. And finally, another tool is related to social media, is the social media security threat detection. And the purpose of this tool is to detect posts on the Twitter about data leaks, leaked accounts, cybersecurity threats, which can be relevant for the particular critical infrastructure. This happens in real time, and this tool, an advantage of this tool, is that it can prioritize tweets based on the extent by which they are relevant for the particular critical infrastructure. For example, a Twitter post mentioning a cyber threat that explicitly mentions a particular critical infrastructure, or the location of the critical infrastructure, or a closely interrelated critical infrastructure, can be considered high priority. And as it's considered high priority, it generates, we use the decision support system to generate an incident and send a notification, for example, to the cell phone of the operator. For posts that are considered low priority, they just appear on the dashboard, obviously. And finally, the last tool, which is integrated in the coordinated response, is the drone neutralization. Its purpose is to address, of course, threats from hostile drones. And the idea is that the decision support system, upon the identification of a hostile drone, generates a relevant incident and triggers the drone neutralization component integrated in the Praetorian system to take proper action. But I will not say more about the drones, since this is a topic of the next presentation. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, please.
Hey everybody, I will be quick as I can because we only have today drone detection without the next component, which was developed also in Praetorian platform, and that is the whole country view system, and that is drone detection and drone neutralization. This power plant and the next in Valencia pilot are only drone detection foreseen in scenarios. So. No. It's fine. Okay, like drones. So, first thing about drones is we need to answer some questions about how we can detect a drone, preferably as far as possible. How can we classify a drone? Then how can we track the drone? How can we detect the pilot? Does it carry a payload and what it is? So how to do countermeasures, which countermeasures is the most appropriate? So these are several country V definitions, which I'm not going to explain, and this is all available on internet, and whoever wants to explore more into the area of drones will know what it means. So first you need to see a drone, you need to know from which direction, on which altitude, what kind of drone, is it carrying a payload, and how can I stop it? At this point, we are not talking about stopping it, we are only talking about detecting it, classifying it, and seeing where he is going. Is he maybe just going around the perimeter and then flying away, or is he pursuing and coming towards the critical infrastructure? Should we trigger the operator, and will the operator see the drone on time and do the possible mitigation actions? So there are a lot of different ways to detect a drone. There is acoustic sensors, a lot of types of sensors, RF sensors, radars, optical detection. There is no silver bullet in drone detection. In counter drone, you need to have a scalable system which pretty much have all of these components. If you have acoustic, optical, radar, and RF, then probably you have a silver bullet, but it will cost you more than that critical infrastructure probably. And if it's long and narrow, like in Bordeaux port, it will cost you even more. So when we discussed how we can do the mitigation action and what we will do to have 4 pilots in 4 different countries, in 4 different types of critical infrastructure, there was only 2 solutions which came to mind that it could cover a good deal of any kind of threats. So it was a optical drone detection and RF drone detection, and it needs to be moved. So we decided to be a portable in a van, so we can drive it around. It can be deployed in 15 minutes on site. cannot be maybe just fixed in position and do all the things at 15 minutes, but it can be transferred very quickly and very quickly installed and then reinstalled in other places if critical infrastructure is very, very long and very unapproachable by any other type of bigger trucks or whatever. So this would be ideal counter UAV system. This is the one professor from the University of London, I think. He did this. This is an ideal system and it costs like, I don't know how much. So each of these external feeds, radars, scanners, cameras, subsystems, jammers needs to be connected to a command and control platform, which needs to be then covered with massive number of operators. And we said, no, we cannot do this. We cannot do this here. We need to be efficient. We need to have it installed inside of other detectors. So detector that ETRA provided, it's acoustic sensor. They will hear the drone. Then we will see the drone and we will see it on, even in the fog with RF. So what we can do in the other pilots, we did also spoofing with also with RF, but here we are not doing that. But Igor will show you that in real-time scenario today from the Peruća dam, so you will see how it works in real time. So detect, decide, respond, detect through optical and RF, integrate into command and control platform, and then of course some kind of operator. Here is the police officer. Here, somewhere else will be security personnel, maybe a mountain rescue service who will have some kind of I don't know, a movable device, and they could see what is happening. So drone detection sensors are all in the van. This is the optical. This is the Sky Patriot with the optical detection module, and this is the command center. That's RF. You can see the RF. I don't have a pointer. Okay. Here you can see how it looks like in the operator's screen. Okay. So the portable counter UAV system on premises consists of two modules, as you have been seeing. That will be the drone detection, and you will not see the drone localization today. To improve the reliability, so to have as much drones flying around, so from 1 to 1,000, whatever is flying, we can see. We have two sub-modules, optical drone detection and radio frequency drone detection. It is on a tripod. It is consists of static camera for object detection and a pan tilt zoom camera for zooming into detected objects. And it's tasked with classifying the object. So when it's classified, the other camera continues to scan the perimeter, and the other one is tracing the one already detected drone all the time until he exits the perimeter we are trying to protect. And it can be done a million times. So whatever is tracked, and it's a drone, hey, it's a DJI, it's a Maverick, it's whatever it is, it will be sent to the operator real time. And wherever it is in the perimeter, on altitude, whatever. There was questions, what if there is darker fog? Doesn't matter, RF will see it. So this is also how it's shown on the screen of the operator. So detection camera live output, then classification camera, and then real-time classifier. As you can see, here's a picture of the drone. He's not carrying a payload. So it could be seen that he's carrying a bag, some kind of object, which is maybe possibility of a bomb, or just a bag of flour. When you have a marathon, people are running and you have a marathon, there's a drone carrying something. Wow, can you imagine what will happen? So it allows, as I said, simultaneous detection of multiple drones. It provides geographical angle positioning, and all the recognized objects are stored and shared in the command and control platform. Once the object is classified and detected, it is sent, a video file with the footage of the drone is sent to the interoperability platform via PRS mechanism, and the operator can then visualize and decide what to do about it through the physical situation awareness, human-machine interface. As we agreed, we will not use PSA HMI. To the short version. So, short version, it stops here for this pilot because we have seen it. We know it's here. For the pilot's sake, we know it's a rogue drone, so it's not approved, and then this stops here. The operator is notified, and decision, he cannot do anything but call Croatian Mountain Rescue Service, police, and close the operation site for, I don't know, maybe other personnel or other civilians who can then not move around until the situation is resolved. So when it is inside of the van, it can detect drones up to 8 kilometers away. There was a question, I think somebody asked Igor. So at the site in Zagreb, we have seen it 6 kilometers away. So it can be seen, now we have tested it 6 kilometers in the ideal, it can see up till 8 kilometers away. Of course, it is only at this point 30 degrees. You need to have cameras installed around, so you will have the whole footage. Of course, this is only for drone neutralization, for legal and regulatory constraints. The technology cannot be used, but it can be shown and it works, but we cannot turn it on because we will be in jail. And everything around certain perimeter will probably die electronically. I mean, so completely mobile with batteries and its own internet connection and point-to-point wireless network. It is self-sufficient and thus making Praetorian counter system self-sufficient as it is, and it can be moved from pilot to pilot. So whatever pilot, whatever critical infrastructure site you have, you can move it and you can use it in Praetorian platform, and it's scalable, so it can be added to when we have such programmers as Juanjo and Igor, anything can happen. Yeah. Thank you. So sorry. So these are the footage from Zagreb, if you haven't seen. So these are footage from Zagreb airport roof. And this is Bordeaux. So you can see different critical infrastructure. And this is yesterday from Peruća. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Jelena. So we now finished the first part. We are a bit ahead of schedule, which is always good. And we'll have a coffee break. So initially our coffee break was supposed to be between 11 and 11:15, but maybe we can, move the coffee break, have coffee break now, and then be back at 11, if that's okay for everybody. And also for people online. Okay. Great. Okay. 11:10 or 11? What are we going to do? 11? Okay.